Davis Show. I Married Joan, America's favorite comedy show. Starring America's queen of comedy, Joan Davis, as Mrs. Joan Stevens. And featuring Jim Backus as Judge Bradley Stevens. I Married Joan.
Of all the neighbors, imagine squirting me with a hose. I'd like to. I'd like to.
Well,
Oh, not you, Brad.
yes. Hey, Joni, what's going on?
Oh, it's that Mrs. Tobin next door. She's got me so mad, Brad. that
Oh, now, dear, there's no sense getting so upset. Come here, honey. Now, calm down.
Well, I guess that proves we've been married over 10 years. Now you kiss me to calm me down.
Joni, you're taking that Mrs. Tobin entirely too seriously. Look, I know that Mrs. Tobin is difficult and unreasonable, but why don't you try being nice to her?
I have tried being nice, but it's like trying to make friends with an octopus. While you're shaking one hand, the other 7 are getting ready to strangle you. I don't trust them.
Oh, now, look, honey, it's just a question of handling her right, that's all. But I could straighten out this bickering in a minute.
I tell you, Brad, she's impossible.
Well, there's no sense in letting a situation like this develop. Now, I am going over and talk to her.
Oh, well, wait, Brad. Wait. Don't go yet. Here, honey.
Well, honey, that's my raincoat.
I know it is. Believe me, you'll need it when you talk to her.
Oh, honey, will you stop being silly?
Believe me, Brad, you'll need it.
You just watch me, Joan. I'll show you how to get along with neighbors. Mrs. Tobin.
Yes? And I suppose you believe her side.
No, Mrs. Tobin,
Go ahead, stick up for your wife. I suppose you're glad she tried to smudge my hollyhocks.
No, Mrs. Tobin.
I can tell by looking at you that you're a hollyhock hater.
But Mrs. Tobin...
Why, I ought to, and by golly, I think I will. I had enough of this nonsense. I'm not going to stand here and let you mistreat me like this.
But Mrs. Tobin, you don't understand. If you'll just listen to me a moment.
I don't have to listen to you and be insulted. I'll teach you to treat your neighbors properly. I'll show you that I can get along without you, Mr. Stevens. Maybe the next time you'll think twice before you come out here and snarl at me.
But Mrs. Tobin, Mrs. Tobin! Mrs. Tobin!
I'll have her put in jail. That's what I'll do. I'm going to call up the police right this minute.
Wait a minute, honey. You can't call up the police.
I'm going to. I'm going to, Brad, and nobody's going to stop me from making that phone call.
Joni, you can't.
Don't try to stop me, Brad. I'm going to report that woman. She can't get away with a thing like this. I'm going to call up the police right this minute.
Joni, you can't.
Why not?
We don't have a phone yet.
Well, I don't care. I'm going to call her up anyway. I wouldn't care. No, we haven't got a phone yet, have we? What a lemon I picked for a neighbor. Why does everything happen to me? Oh, she's got me so upset I can't even do my work. I swear I don't know what people like that are around for. Around for? Well, I don't even recognize my own doorbell.
Telephone, ma'am, Mrs. Stevens.
Oh, am I glad that you finally got here. There's one call that I'm just dying to make.
But wait, I haven't got it hooked up yet.
Oh, sorry, I got carried away. I want to make a complaint about my neighbor.
Well, I'll hook it up right away. Where do you want it?
Well, let's see. I guess by the desk would be the most convenient place. Right there.
Yeah, this will be fine.
Good.
Wait, I haven't hooked it up yet. Well, she's just about ready to go.
Oh, wonderful. The first call I'm going to make is about that neighbor I told you about. She is the meanest, most miserable.
She's ready to go.
Well, let her go. The further the better. I wouldn't care if... Oh, you mean phone?
Yeah, you can make a call right now.
Oh, good.
No, the Harrison Stevens aren't buying a new car.
Well, I got somebody without dialing. What is this, mental telepathy?
No, this is a party line. There's not enough trunk lines in this area, so you'll have to share a line.
Oh, well, I'll make my call as soon as they get off.
Well, I'll work on the extension. Where would you like it?
In the kitchen on the counter, please.
Yes, ma'am.
And if he was as prosperous as she'd like to have people think, why, I'd be the first to know. I think that what a person does is strictly his own affair. Nobody has a right to gossip about it, even if they do know each other.
I got the extension all hooked up, Mrs. Stevens.
Oh, well, thank you.
Isn't it great to have a phone again?
Well, I'll let you know as soon as I get to use it.
They'll be off of there in a minute.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Excuse me. Yes, I know you're on the phone. But I've been waiting for 3 solid hours.
Hi, lover.
And I would just like to make one call.
I see we got a phone.
Yeah, we got a phone, all right, but it's a party line.
Well, why don't you hang up and give the party a chance at it?
Brad, the party's been on the phone for 3 solid hours.
Oh.
It's a party line, and our party's been having a party. First it's arguing with the Tobins next door, and now the party on the phone.
Honey, not all people are like the Tobins. I'm sure if you were polite and explained to them that they were monopolizing...
Tried that. I tried it.
Well, here, let me try it there. Just a question of handling people, that's all, darling. Hello? Hello, I'm your new party, and, yes, I know you're on the phone. No, I'm not trying to listen to your conversation. Madam, I am not eavesdropping. I told you I am not eavesdropping. And frankly, if I ever dropped any eaves, it would be right on you. Yes, you heard me.
What'd you say, Brad? Who is she?
Is that so? Well, I tried to be polite, but I can see it's useless. It's a waste of time.
I'm going to report you to the phone company. You're inconsiderate.
Intolerable, indecent, improper.
And 3 or 4 more ins that happen to escape me at the moment.
Atta girl.
And another thing, Brad?
What is it?
Look.
Don't tell me what to do. I know my rights as a telephone subscriber. And if I'm making a call, no one can tell me to get off before I'm ready. I've got just as much right to use this phone as anyone. And no matter what you say, I'll talk as much as I want to.
Goodbye.
Goodbye! And now will you please get off the phone?
So it's you.
Yes, it's me. Now will you please get off the phone so I may use it?
Like fun, I will. I haven't finished using it myself.
Now, look, Joni, I'm sure that pretty soon Mrs. Tobin will be all talked out, and you can use the phone as much as you want to. Goodbye, dear.
I know how to get her off the telephone. I think of this a long time ago.
Mrs. Stevens, this is the last straw.
No, it
isn't it? It's feathers.
Mrs. Stevens, let me tell you something.
Go right ahead.
I'm a very patient woman, but I've stood about as much of your nonsense as I intend to. I've tried to be fair. I've bent over backwards. But now I'm completely out of patience, and I'm going to do something drastic about these malicious tricks of yours.
Gloria, I've done it.
You've done what, Joni?
I've finally gotten through. Oh, now I know how Alexander Graham Bell must have felt when he made his first phone call.
Oh, really? Tell me, how did you ever get that pest off the wire?
Oh, well, it's a long story, Gloria, but this is how it happened. You see, I went into my closet and I found an old pillow and it had lots of feathers.
Well, why don't you answer me? You don't dare to.
Oh. Well, to begin with, there was the tire. But when the fella, she. Well, what do you want to tell me, Gloria?
Well, it was about the... no, come to think of it, it couldn't have been. Anyway, did you know that... Oh, of course you... Joni, I'm afraid I don't have anything to say either. But why don't we just hang up?
Are you kidding? And let that miserable dame get back on this phone? Nothing doing.
Oh, we'll find something to talk about. Okay.
Did you ever hear this? By the shores of Gitchigumi, by the shining big sea water, stood the wigwam of Nokomis and her son named Hiawatha.
And to obey the scout law, I will keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
So that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Oh, there's somebody at the door, Gloria. I'll call you right back. Don't go away, honey.
Dear Mrs. Stevens, roses are red, violets are blue. I'm back on the phone again. Don't you wish it was you? The phone.
I can be just as tricky as you, Mrs. Stevens. And believe me, it'll be a long time before you use that phone again.
Mrs. Tobin, not off the hook. Please don't let the receiver off the hook, huh? Oh, Mrs. Tobin, please not off the hook. Oh, come on. Not off the hook. Mrs. Tobin, not off the hook, huh? Mrs. Tobin, not off the hook.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello, darling.
Janet, I did it. I closed the Cavendish deal. He walked into the office, said he was going to go for the whole proposition. Lock, stock, and barrel.
I knew he would. I told you this morning.
Is that the reason for all this splendor?
That's right. I knew we'd have something to celebrate.
We sure have. You know, it's not every day that I land a $25,000 account. Say, I suppose now there's no reason why you can't make that little trip back east that you've been wanting, hmm?
Oh, it would be wonderful to visit the folks again.
Hmm. How are our friendly neighbors?
Well, I haven't seen him today, but she's about as friendly as a cobra. Every time I try to use the phone, she badgers me in some fantastic way.
Oh. Oh, by the way, I stopped by the telephone company, and they said it would be at least 2 or 3 months before we could get a private line.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to manage with that woman.
Say, I'm missing the first 5 minutes of my favorite television program, Two Hearts Against the World.
How is she, Henry? Is there any hope?
I don't know. The doctor's in there with her now. When he comes out, I'll make him tell me the truth, no matter how hard it is to bear.
And now do you know what that awful woman is doing, Brad? Just to keep me from using our party line, she deliberately left the receiver off the hook.
Off the hook? I can't believe it, Joan.
Well, it's true. I don't hear anyone talking. She left it off the hook.
How is she, Doctor?
Mr. Tobin is talking to a doctor.
You'll have to be brave, old man.
Brave? If he can live with a woman like that, he deserves a medal.
Then there's no hope for her at all.
What?
In cases like hers, medical science is absolutely helpless.
Medical science is helpless.
Does she know?
No, and she must never know. We've got to do all we can to make your wife happy in the little time she has left.
Charlie, what's the matter?
Oh, Brad, this is terrible. What a horrible injustice I've done to that poor Mrs. Tobin.
What's wrong?
Well, her days are numbered. She only has a few months to live. No wonder she needed the phone all the time. She may have to call for help at any moment.
That accounts for her awful disposition.
Well, she can't help it. She's probably been in constant pain. I bet that's why she doesn't know how to drive, and she drove over the hedges in our driveway, you remember?
If we'd only known sooner.
Well, Brad, I'm going to do everything that I can to make her last few hours happy.
Okay, dear, dinner's ready.
Oh, good. So we come
Oh,
to the
I
end of
wonder who
another
that could
episode
be
of
at
Two
this
Hearts
hour.
Against the World. Tune in tomorrow to find out what happens.
Hello.
Well, Kerwin.
Say, what is this?
Well, nothing. We're just trying to be friendly.
Well, after all, we're neighbors.
Well, you weren't very friendly this morning when you squirted me with that hose.
Well, you stop. I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Tobin. That was an accident.
We brought you some flowers.
Yes, I picked them myself out of our yard. Aren't they beautiful?
Well, why shouldn't they be? No one blows incinerator smudge at them.
Oh, well, that'll never happen again, Mrs. Tobin. Not as long as you live. I mean, as long as I live.
Well, as long as you're here, why don't you come on in and sit down?
Yes,
well,
please
thank
do.
you.
Here, let me
Sit
take
over
those
the
flowers.
chair.
Yes,
Okay,
after you,
right
hon.
over there, Mr. Stevens.
Oh, and Mrs. Tobin, if you have too many leaves in your yard, just throw them over in my yard. I won't even burn them. I'll bury them.
Well, that's very nice of you, Mrs. Stevens.
And about your party Saturday nights, if you have to make noise, make noise. The main thing is enjoy yourself.
Oh, we don't want to annoy our neighbors.
Oh, what's the difference? So if you keep us awake all night, we can always sleep late on Sunday.
Oh, sure, that's our motto. Live and let live.
And about the telephone.
Oh, in a month or two, our problem will be over.
I know.
Well, you don't seem very happy about it.
Well, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it'll be a big relief.
Yeah, I suppose you feel that way when you've been suffering. But let's change the subject. I brought you some fudge. I made it myself.
You know, I must say it's awfully nice of you folks.
Well, I really shouldn't. I have to watch my figure.
Oh, go on. Take a piece and stop worrying about your figure. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may diet. Don't touch it. It's full of sugar.
I say, have you folks had your dinner yet?
Well, no, we haven't.
Why don't you join us?
Yes, please do. I'll get 2 more chairs.
Oh, Mrs. Tobin, I'll get them for you. Let's conserve your strength.
No, that's all right, Mrs. Stevens. I can do it. You stay right where you are.
Oh, you have a wonderful wife, Mr. Tobin.
Yes, I know. I don't know what I'd do without her.
You have to be brave, old man.
Do you always make such a fuss about dinner?
No. You see, this is a kind of a celebration. I had some good news today.
Good news?
Well, I think you might call it that. It'll mean about $25,000 to me.
The insurance money.
She isn't even cold.
Oh, Mrs. Stevens, you have no idea how happy I am that we're going to become friends.
Oh, so am I. We'll have to see a lot of each other.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, by the way, I'm going away shortly.
Let's not talk about it.
Well, now that we've become friends, I sort of wish you could go along with me. When will I be leaving, dear?
Well, I don't know, dear. I only just heard today that you were going. I was terribly disappointed that she didn't go last year.
What?
As a matter of fact, I've been wanting her to go ever since we were married.
Why, you Bluebeard.
What are you talking about?
This despicable character that calls himself your husband, celebrating because he got the good news today. Why, he can't wait to spend the insurance money.
Insurance money?
Don't act so innocent. I hate to upset anyone. We're such a short time to live, but... Oh, you weren't supposed to know.
Honey, what is she talking about?
I don't know what she's talking about, and I don't think she does either.
Oh, yes, I do. I heard the doctor tell you that she only had 2 or 3 months to live. I heard it with my own ears because you left the receiver off the hook on the telephone there. I heard it.
I only had 2 or 3 months to live.
Yes, the doctor says that in cases like yours, dear, medical science is helpless.
Medical science? She was listening to the television program, Two Hearts Against the World.
You're not dying?
No, and don't look so disappointed.
You're not even sick?
Only at the sight of you.
I tried to be so nice. Give me back my candy and the flour. Come on, Brad, let's go.
Trying to make trouble between my husband and me, huh?
Me trying to make trouble? I only came
That's
here.
right. She was only trying to be kind and sympathetic.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, picking on a poor, defenseless woman. Why, I ought to... And by golly, I think I will.
Now, Mrs. Tobin.
I've had enough of this nonsense. I'm not going to stand here and
Miss Tobin.
you
No.
treat me like this.
Now, Mrs. Tobin. Mrs. Tobin, try to understand. Will you please listen to me for a moment?
How are you and being I'll make you so sorry you ever started on me that you'll never pick on anyone again. I'll teach you to treat your neighbors properly.
Dennis.
Come on, Brad. I'm going to report that woman. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call up the police and tell them exactly what's going on.
More coffee, Brad?
No, thanks, dear. I'm going to bed.
Me too. I'm tired. Gosh, it's nice to have friendly neighbors, isn't it, Brad?
It almost took a visit from the riot squad to make us realize how friendly we were.
Well, I must say the Tobins were very reasonable. Once they realized that it was only an honest mistake that I made about her illness, they forgave me. In fact, they were really touched.
It was big of Mrs. Tobin to admit that it was really her fault because she took the phone off the hook.
Well, that won't happen anymore. We got all our differences ironed out. There'll be no more fighting over the use of the phone. I can use it anytime I like.
I hope it works out.
Well, why shouldn't it, dear? If I'm on the line and she wants to use it, she'll ask me to get off, and I will. And if she's on, I'll ask her to get off. I'll show you. Hello? Would you be good enough to finish your call? I'd appreciate being able to use the phone, please. But I only asked you. Well,
Mrs. Tobin didn't get off?
Mrs. Tobin isn't even on. The phone company added another party to our line.
She keeps my heart laughing, never know where her brain has gone. To each his own, can't deny that's why I married Joan.
Seen in tonight's cast were Sheila Bromley, Dan Tobin, Charles Williams, and Joe Devon.